opportunity, there. And if you want to chat more about it, I can share with you some of the things that I've been asked for from these different businesses, and I can't be doing it all right now. So thank you.
Thanks, Anita.
To answer, Jamie, from my perspective, I run the Brown, just to give you a little background, because I think my perspective might possibly be unique to this room. Maybe not, considering everybody's varied backgrounds. But I run the Brown & Brown office here in Taos. We have a Santa Fe office as well. Brown & Brown is the 7th largest agency in the world. Many people don't know that. And this little office in Taos has the potential to hire people and send them out to other offices. I mean, that's one of the things that I would very much like to focus on, that Brown & Brown very much values. And I knew there were things going on at UNM about career development, but I can tell you on the ground, I've hired 3 people this year, and some of the people who have come, and again, these are jobs that require no experience. We'll train with a job that offers benefits, a 40-hour work week, and a great place to work, if I don't mind saying so myself. And the people who walk in the door, I finally stopped running the ads, because the job pool is particularly for the young people, presenting themselves inappropriately in jeans, not knowing how to shake your hand, not knowing how to look you in the eye. I'm a salesperson like you, and if you've got to sell yourself. You have to have those basic skills. You have to be able to think. Just think. To apply one concept that you learn here, to apply it over here. So, Jamie, my response to these young people would be, make yourself indispensable. Come into a business. I mean, this is what I tell some of the assistants that we hire, is you need to make the other people who are at the front lines more productive and increase revenue. If you do that, why would I ever get rid of you? To me, it can be looked at very simply. I know it's more complicated than that, but I would take an intern tomorrow. And I gave you my card earlier, and I really mean that, because we want to contribute to the community. We want these young people to develop, and they would get a great experience coming to Brown & Brown, and I would churn them out. I'd love to have them.
Oops, thanks. And just so everybody knows, we are running a little bit overtime, so those who are on a schedule, and I knew there was somebody.
I was just going to say thank you all very much. My apologies, I do need to run to a meeting in Santa Fe, but it's great to see you all, and I look forward to future conversations. So.
I think those points are well noted about making sure that not only UNM-Taos but the rest of the community and community organizations kind of step up to the plate to make sure that we're informing our young people of, traditional common business practices and decorum, which is important. But in absence of not having enough qualified people for internships, some people are in a position to be able to do that and offer somebody a position or help them forward in a very formal manner. But a lot of people aren't. And I think an important part of internships, and I say this speaking from experience, where part of the legal environment, going to law school, a lot of it is you take jobs, a lot of internship opportunities, and you develop and you cultivate your professional career based upon your experiences at that level. And part of that, though, is this real formal kind of acknowledgement between the employer and the intern. And in that case, they're not an employer, but there's an employer-employee relationship. What is going to happen? And maybe that's a conversation that needs to be said. I will help you in these ways if you do these things, which is I cannot hire you after the internship term expires. However, I will write you a recommendation. I will contact my professional network, and I will serve, as a recommendation for you. And that's important in these ways, and explaining that. And of course, we'd hope that they get that information either from us or perhaps it would be UNM mentor capacity, but that's something that's important, I think. And, you know, if everybody kind of moves closer to the middle, meaning, you know, we help qualify these interns and young people better, but as community business owners, you say, this is what we can do for people if we're going to, you know, hire them and bring them on as interns. This is what we can do for them. So.
Okay, we're going to wrap up here. Two more.
I want to comment. I went to graduate school. This is Sharon, and I went to graduate school at Emerson College in Boston. And one of the things they did really well was internships and career training. And so my comment is twofold. One, we're talking about training people to do resumes and so on. One of the things that Emerson did well with freshmen is they required particular courses. In this case, it was voice and articulation, because if you were going to go into broadcasting, you had to train yourself out of your Southern drawl or whatever it was that stood in your way of becoming a broadcast journalist. So there were some required courses in order to go in that stream. But the other thing is, with an internship, with all due respect, if somebody wants to become a web designer, yes, they may want to come into your office to learn web design in that way. But generally speaking, people will look for an internship that matches their career path at that business. So if I want to be a filmmaker, I want to work for a film company. So part of the challenge is to find a match that way, because it can't just be, okay, I'm going to come in and I'm going to work in this office and learn about office skills. It has to be very focused. So those are my two comments. Those are the things that work the best. And the third thing I want to add is, it is very, very hard to convince people to come and work for free. And so even though there are other incentives, it's very helpful to say, okay, you have a financial incentive of some kind. If you do increase sales, if you increase the bottom line, if there's a payback into the internship program that then pays a stipend, even a small stipend, that's going to add an incentive. So those are my comments.
Yeah, I just had a couple of quick things. And Louis, this is where I'm going to be relying on you. A million years ago, when God was a child and I was a college student, there weren't many women in significant career roles at that point. I went to a women's college. And so we didn't have a lot of graduates who were well placed at that moment. We had a few. But what we had was a very strong alumni network. And I paid for my college education. And I found the time to work for free as an intern, because it was important for me to develop these skills and make the contacts and the networks. And our networks that you just discussed and when we're discussing, they're worldwide.
Thank you, everybody. By the way, First Friday Forum next in September will be TripAdvisor, and how to utilize TripAdvisor to